to grow, to drink, to bathe, to feed cattle or generate energy. Fun and relaxation. We all know that water is essential. But how can an ecosystem provide water? We call this hydrological ecosystem services. In some places, there isn't enough water for all our needs, or we have a lot of water in one season, and in another we have nothing. Or it may be that water is plentiful, but dark, turbid and with sediment, or very clear, but with harmful chemicals and pollutants that we cannot even see. To solve these problems, it is important to identify what is the hydrological ecosystem service that we are referring to. Each of them has a specific term. Water yield. The ecosystem acts as a factory that produces a total amount of water in the year. Its production depends on the rain, but also on the ecosystem management. Some crops and exotic species do not have the same capacity of native plants to capture fog, retain water and release it. They may consume much more for their growth, thus reducing the performance of the factory. On the other hand, climate change can generate variations on the amount of rainfall and temperature that we cannot predict. Water regulation. The ecosystem functions like a sponge that stores water when it rains and then slowly releases it when it stops raining. Afterwards, the water stored in the soil flows during the dry periods, which is known as base flow. The capacity of this sponge to absorb and retain water is affected when the soil is compacted, for example with the trampling of animals if there is livestock, or agriculture or overgrazing, also affecting the regulation. Sediment control. The ecosystem functions as a filter that prevents or reduces the coarse and fine solids in the water, therefore improving its physical quality. Among the most common causes are natural earth landslides, caused by heavy rains or the construction of roads and highways. Also, tillage and loss of vegetation cover exposes the soil, making it more vulnerable to erosion. Chemical water quality. This means that the ecosystem purifies water by subtracting harmful substances in it. The origin of contaminants can be fertilisers and pesticides used in agriculture, mining waste and heavy metals, water discharges from farms, as well as from human consumption. When the pollution is too great, the capacity of the ecosystem is not enough to decontaminate the water. To improve the hydrological ecosystem services, we can implement actions on the ecosystems that supply water, such as upland areas and its natural vegetation. Among the most important are: conserve and restore native vegetation, encourage productive conservation activities, such as sustainable agriculture and livestock farming or ecotourism, strengthen natural water storage practices, include planting, breeding and water harvesting, or green infrastructure. The grey infrastructure such as reservoirs or dams also help, but only to nearby communities with a much higher cost. Reduce consumption, wastewater treatment and reuse of water. Learn, inform and be aware of the importance of water supplies ecosystems. For implementing these actions, it is important to monitor its effectiveness, and from this knowledge, prioritise actions to manage water ecosystem services in a sustainable manner over time. Therefore, both the people who live upstream as those who live downstream depend on each other.